Okay, so you're going to put your last name, comma, first name. And every time you have an assignment that has to be handed in here, you do that. Now, the exception is tests. I actually print your name on your tests for you. Too many times students don't turn in their tests with their name on it. It kind of makes it hard to give you a grade. And then on the next line, you want to tell me what class this is. This and this is a chemistry lab notebook. So we'll just say chemistry 1 honors lab. Let's call it a logbook. Okay. Sometimes when I say notebook, students kind of misunderstand that, but we'll try to explain to you how you're going to use this. Now, you only write in a lab logbook in pen, and you want to work really hard to make sure you're very thorough about observations and procedures and things like that. Okay, you want a really good record of what you do in the labs. And we use this not only for labs, but also for demonstrations. And I'm going to do a demonstration for you here in a few minutes, and you'll record that. That's the reason I'm giving you this and getting this set up right now, because you're going to be using this for the demonstration we're going to do. Okay. All the research shows, and of course, being a science teacher, I'm really big on research. All the research shows that when you do chemistry demonstrations, and that's all you do, nobody gets anything out of it. There's no link in your mind to the content. So what I make you do, what I ask you to do, what I require you to do is to take notes on demonstrations. You know, write down what you saw and maybe even what chemistry concepts are related to that. And what that does, it helps you to sort of link that thing that you saw in the class to other content in your brain later on. Okay, so that when I show you something and say, well, this has to do with so-and-so, and we haven't done this yet, you'll be able to hopefully grab hold of that. If you'll have it, and even if you don't grab hold of it in your mind and remember it at the time when it comes up, you'll have it in your lab notebook and you can go back and look at it. It'll help you remember, what it was we did and how that's linked to what we're learning, and deepen your concept knowledge, your concept understanding. Okay, so that's really important. All right, and then we want to say what period you're in and what the teacher's name is here. And the idea behind that is if you lose this notebook or this lab logbook somewhere else, somebody can always find it and get it back to you because they know what class you're in. So we're going to call this, let's see, room 215A, and we can say Mr. Tedder. How about that? And then under that, where there is no line, we're going to say Dorman High. I mean, you might lose this at Westgate Mall. I don't know. Hopefully not. But I don't know anybody that takes their lab logbook into Westgate Mall, but you could. Okay. Everybody got that part? All right. That's not so hard. That's your first assignment. Wow, that was easy, huh? Okay. Inside cover of that lab logbook then, there's some things you need to know. And you need to know where it is all the time. And if you have some, let's say you lose this lab logbook, or you want somebody to be able to get it back to you personally, you can put your personal information somewhere on that inside cover, because that's the first place somebody's going to look at, trying to figure out, who this belongs to, rather than go through every single page. Hopefully, they're going to look on the inside cover. But one of the first things I want you to put on here is the website address. Okay, and so the website address is www.tedderchemistry, all one word, tedderchemistry.com. And then you want to know my email address. And that's Tedder, A-R, all one word, at Spart6, S-P-A-R-T 6, short for Spartanburg District 6, .org. if you type in www.tedderchemistry.com on a web page, this is what you're going to see. Okay? And then your content information is under all chemistry classes, and we're Chemistry 1 Honors, and this is your instruction page here. Okay, and it takes you there. So like I said earlier, there's texts for each unit. We'll have 10 units of instruction, and each one of those has a text. You just click there, it downloads it for you. You can keep it on your computer or your flash drive, or just download it when you need it. Okay? Any questions about that? All right then. We'll go back then to your lab logbook for a second, and let's go to the very first page on your lab logbook. Now, you need to know that you never write on the left-hand side page. Okay? So if you open up a lab logbook, of course, there's 2 pages. We don't write on the left-hand side, only the right-hand side. Okay, I'm sorry if you're left-handed, but we're only going to write on the right-handed side, okay? And on the first right-handed side page is going to be your first table of contents page. So you want to label that table of contents. Okay? And you're going to number only those right-hand side pages. So again, if we have a lab logbook, we open it up, we're only going to number this side of the page. And we're going to do it in the upper right-hand corner. So this is page 1. If you just want to put the number 1, that's fine. But I like to put page 1 so I know what that number is. Now, once we start putting demonstrations and labs in here, you're going to put a date on this side. I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. Now, the next thing is you want to have a second page also labeled as table of contents. Okay, a second page also labeled for table of contents. More than likely, we're going to have enough lab material that you're going to need at least a second page. And if you write large, if your handwriting has big letters, you want to label a third page for table of contents. If you're kind of write small, I've had a few students whose handwriting was so small they only needed 1 page, but most people need at least 2 pages for table of contents. But you want to decide for yourself how many pages you need for table of contents. Okay, so go ahead and do that. If you need 2 pages, label them 2 pages. If you need 3 pages, make sure you label 3 pages. Okay? And put a page number on all those. So you should have pages 1, 2, and 3. And remember, you're only writing on the right-hand side, not on the left-hand side at all. Okay? And the reason we leave the left-hand side blank is if I check something in your lab logbook, if I put notes in there for you, I want to do it on the left-hand side if it's anything more than just a quick mark or something. Okay? Questions so far? All right, good. So now we're going to get to the first page where you're going to write something in your lab logbook that has to do with a demonstration or a lab. Okay? Now, most of the time, I'm not going to give you a title for labs or demonstrations. You come up with your own title. Okay? You just describe in a title what the lab or the demonstration is about. Hey. All right, so on page 3 or 4, depending on how many pages you set up for your lab logbook, we're going to do a lab or a demonstration here. And a lot of demonstrations are labs, like I said, I'm not going to give you a title for. I'm going to give you a title for this one, okay? Just because it's just getting you started today, all right? Kind of get you off on a good foot here. Let's call this candle demonstration. And you might want to go back and add a word to the front or the back of that, or something above it, or whatever. If you decide later on you want to give it a slightly more descriptive title than that. But for right now, that's probably good. Now, since this is our first demonstration or lab, we want to make sure we put a date in the upper left-hand corner. Hold on a minute, because there's a special way I want you to do dates too. Like your name has to be last name first, first name last. With dates, we're going to start with the year. And this is 2015. I don't know about you, but I'm having a hard time remembering to write 2015. And this is the first month, and it's the 5th day. Okay? So if anybody's thinking about a career in the military or the sciences or whatever, you might start seeing dates written that way a lot. Okay? But if you're putting dates in a spreadsheet and you want the spreadsheet to sort by the date, that's probably the most effective way to do it, because then you always have the year first and the month, then followed by the day of the month. So you actually get the dates in the right order. And it depends on what kind of spreadsheet, because some spreadsheets do it anyway. but some spreadsheets won't. And this is just a way of making sure that your computer you're talking to your computer in a way that makes the computer do what you want it to do.